Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say. Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of Dribbz Talks. Now tonight, this one is a little different. Right now, we're in the beautiful All Saints Parish Church in Wellington, Telford. The sun is beaming through the windows. We are here for Ben Butler's play, When Misunderstood, There's Consequences. We're going to start by talking to some of the cast, some of his friends who have headed down this evening for the rehearsal ahead of the big evening tonight. I'm excited, Ben's a little nervous, but he's very excited too. The cast are doing their last minute checks and they are good to go. This is going to be a night to remember, a night to inspire and a night to learn from. So when misunderstood, there's consequences. Let's see how this pans out.
I'm Janetti Barrett, aka Empress Lyricist B, and I'm actually the script writer.
Fantastic.
For Ben's.
I knew you was the main lady. I knew you was.
Thank you. And how it came about is that I met Ben at an arts exhibition, and his actual ghostwriter, Oria Reich, introduced me to Ben. And now I'm actually going to be taking over that ghostwriting part. So to start off with the script itself, I had to actually go through his manuscript.
Oh, wow.
And pick parts out
to
make up the script that was legible partly as a duologue. So that's the part that I play. And I play the counsellor. So it's kind of like real life type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's playing out in real time almost, because you're still in that kind of thing. And we want to make sure that we represent everybody that needs counselling or wants to have counselling.
100%. So who is Ben Butler to you?
Ben Butler to me is anyone out there in the street. Yeah, he could be any one of the people in the audience, anyone that's listening right now, because to me, we are all on the borderline of mental health issues. It could be the fact that you lose your job tomorrow and you can't find one in 3 months. What changes in your mindset is phenomenal. And Ben has been going through a transition of various different types of manifestations. And now he's grabbing hold of it, facing it, being accountable. And that's why we're doing this show. And
that is such a brave thing to do. You know what I mean? That's such a quality to have, to be accountable for your actions
100%.
And then strive to make a change. You know, we all want to do that in our own little way. But yeah, the fact that Ben's kind of brought this to light and now it's gone from a vision to like reality. This is reality, you know. The show starts in an hour or an hour and a half now, and like
that's
everyone's
right. This is Ben's fruition. He saw something. He's always said that he feels better when he's helping someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ben shines when he's helping someone else, or when he speaks about helping other people. What better way to help other people? Not just by saying it, but by showing it.
Exactly. There's so many people out there that talk about doing these things but don't actually put the things in motion.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? But it's all about connecting, and I'm so glad that he's connected with you, because you know this has give him, and I'm not saying that he might not have done this without connecting with you, but it's obviously been a massive help, and he talks really, really highly of you.
Thank you.
In fact, they all do. So it's a pleasure to actually meet you. You know, it's been a long time coming meeting you. In fact, I might have met you at the halfway house.
Yes, you did.
On the book launch.
Yes,
You
did.
But obviously this is a bit more personal and intimate,
Of
you know.
course,
It's special. This is a special one tonight, and I know there's been a lot of hard work gone into this, you know, and to get to where you are today.
Yes,
you know. Have you found it quite stressful at times?
Well,
be honest.
A little bit. Yeah, Dribbz, I'm not going to lie, because the way it started off, it was just really a duologue between the two of us, and then he introduced different friends to come into it, and none of them have actually played an acting role. So not only did I have to mentor Ben, I started to have to mentor other people that I hadn't met, and I don't know their background story. So he was bleeding out a little bit of their story. So I was able to be on the other side of the Zoom and being able to be tolerant and patient with their attitudes and issues that they brought into the Zoom room. So it started to be a whole group therapy session in the end. And now we've come to this, and when I see them, they're smiling, I'm smiling, the tensions have dropped. The only tension that we have now is to make sure that we execute the right kind of performance tonight. that reaches the hearts and souls of the audience.
And I have no doubt that you will. I have no
definitely.
doubt.
All we want in the message is to make sure that people in the audience that might be contemplating thinking about counselling, or someone says in the family you should have it, to know that it can be as friendly as it is.
Yes.
It can be as open, as relaxed as what they see on the stage, and it does not have to be daunting.
Yes, and I guess that, like, I mean, Ben said there's roughly 70 to 90 people attending tonight, roughly, approximately, and like, if you just make a change to one person, if one person walks out that door and goes, do you know what, I'm going to go and get some help because this has really uplifted me.
It's true. If you hit them hard enough with it into their psyche, that one person ends up being 4.
100%.
Because they tell somebody, and that somebody tells somebody. That's the domino effect is immense.
Definitely. What do you think is the most...
message always changes other people's
100%,
minds.
yeah, definitely. What do you think is the most misunderstood concept about Ben Butler's personality?
I think because he has ADHD as well, the way people look at people, the first impression, image, it always strikes the people straight away. Of course, he's of dual heritage as well. So where he's saying where he fits and everything, he himself is understanding and navigating through that. But people can have a perception before they get to know someone. So it's their interpretation, and people's interpretation is either right or wrong.
Yes, definitely.
And I think with my interpretation of Ben straight away, when I saw it, because he's coming to an arts exhibition of African people. So who would be interested in that? Unless they wanted to understand culture.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true.
So I already had the first impression, okay, when I was introduced to him, okay, this person's interested in this arts exhibition. They're not coming here for nothing. People who come here because they want to see what's there.
Yeah.
So this person is dual heritage. So they want to learn about more of their African heritage. And it turned out to be so. So you was right there. You was right. I love that. I love that. Have you can choose to be as detailed or as brief as you want, but have you been misunderstood in your life? I was for a long time. I'm a child of the 60s. Okay. And my mother was lighter than Benny's. And my father was quite dark. Well, my father was born 1909. Wow, okay. Before the Titanic. Yeah, of course. So when my father was walking with my mother, it was like he was walking with a white woman. We'd just been on holiday in town. So I know the background of all that. And when I was in school, I was one of the black children that was saying, oh, you've got this good hair. There's the phrase. People who listeners would know you've got this good hair. It wasn't the really knotty curly hair. So who are you? Jamaican Indian. So I was starting the P word and other words like so. I had my fair share. Yeah, I get that, and that's I had my fair share. I think everyone does to a certain extent, you know. It's one of them. Like no one fits in a perfect box, you know. No. Everyone's an individual. Why should you? Exactly. If how boring would life be? If people were fitting into boxes like that, they say me, where would the challenge in life be? That's very true. It's very true. There wouldn't be. No. It would become ordinary. I mean, we are substances of nature. Not everything in nature is green. Not every rose is red. I love the way you put that. You know, not every fruit is a banana. Right? If we just treat like we eat, that's a good way of putting it. Then we would have a plethora of a menu that we want to choose from. I love that. It's a fantastic way of putting it. I mean, I've been judged literally my whole life, you know. Taken on face value with the matching tracksuit, the shades, the cap, and the fact that I rap, and you know, to an older generation, they're like, oh well, he must be a nuisance to society. And I love nothing more than sitting down with people and proving them wrong. When I turn to them and say, I'm a special needs teacher, I'm a foster carer of 15 years, there you go. You know, mental health advocate. I go into schools and talk to school children about the importance of talking up. And you watch the jaw drop. Yes, exactly. It's beautiful, that. And I love nothing more than that. Oh, it's beautiful. You know, I've had people when I've gone to supermarkets and I've got my t-shirt and I've got tattoos. I'm covered in tattoos, and I've gone, do you need me a hand with getting that off the shelf? And the lady's like, no, I'm okay. Yeah. And they pull their bag a little bit tighter. And it's just, I don't think we're ever going to cap this, but it's we're all trying to make a difference. It's ignorance and sheltered lives. Yes. That's why I really do believe. One bad interaction as well. Yeah, it is. It's what I call substance staining. If you're in an environment and you're brought up in a certain way and it's sheltered, and you don't actually make yourself learn about different cultures, then you are going to be surprised about different cultures. Yes. Okay. And if you only listen to what the mainstream is saying, that's your education, what the mainstream is saying, what you see on TV. That's going to be your education. So you don't do no research. So the only type of influence you're going to get is a mainstream influence, and the mainstream influence is all stereotypical and conformities.
100%.
You are the individual to brighten your horizons, broaden your mindset, right? To absorb different cultures. Like you, how many people just eat normal potato and peas and meat? You know, you wouldn't want that every single day of your life.
No.
There's not one person I know doesn't have a Chinese, have an Indian, you know.
Just to mix it up.
You mix it up.
Of course you do.
Right? Why do you do that? Because you want a variety. Mm-hmm. So therefore, expect to have a variety of individuals as the human race, and just be quiet about it.
Yeah, exactly that. I love your outlook of life. I love that. It's the first time properly meeting you, and it's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Like I said, I've heard so much good stuff from Ben. He talks very highly of you, and I know the help you've been given, Ben, and you know, I know he's forever grateful, and I'm grateful to you for doing that for him, you know. And the outlook of life that you've got, you know, there's a little ping in my head that's like, I need you for a separate podcast, because I run my own podcasts, and these 5-10 minutes just isn't enough for what you've got to say. It really ain't.
Listen, it's a lot. I am long in the tooth with this business.
Absolutely.
Since 1992, doing one woman shows and stuff. I'm sure I could be a mum, right, my age group. But yeah, I've travelled this road. I've seen a lot, and I've had to absorb a lot.
Yeah,
so I've got a very, very hard backbone. Don't call me Rhino for nothing. I've got a hard backbone, but it doesn't mean to say that I'm hard.
Why do you think stories about misunderstood figures are important to tell?
The word misunderstood, I'm sure every single one of us can say at some time we were misunderstood.
Got to be.
And how and why should you have to keep explaining yourself to people?
Yeah.
It's tiring. It's exhausting. Why can't people just accept who you are and learn to see you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah?
Totally
Why not
agree with
make up some sort of perception of you by what you look like? Oh, I'm not going there. Just like what you were saying in the supermarket, etc. Be open-minded until you see what you don't want to see.
Yes.
And hear what you don't want to hear. Then you shut the door.
But until then,
be open. You may learn something beautiful.
100%. What a great outlook. Now, what do you hope finally that the people that come tonight, they watch the show, what do you hope they take away?
I want them to take away the fact that any one of us can fall into the trap of mental health issues. It is Mental Health Awareness Week. Yeah. And like I said before, we could be 3 months away from being homeless if you can't pay your bills.
I've heard this, and it's such an interesting thing to say, that you're only one bad decision away from being on the streets.
Right. You may feel as though you're in control of your mind now, right, and you've got all your faculties, but it's very easily we could slip down that
100%,
road. Yeah. Celebrities, you see them all the time. Oh, so good. Why did they take their life? Why? They've got entourage, they've got money, they've got clothes, they've got this.
Nothing.
It means absolutely nothing. Once your mind starts to slip down that road and there's nobody to talk to, or you think there isn't, or you believe you are misunderstood, and you reach the point that you're fed up of talking to people that won't listen. Because you can talk to people who are willing to listen to you properly, but it's when you're not heard.
Yes.
And you're misunderstood. That's when you fall under the radar.
Totally agree with you. And finally, any last words for Ben?
For Ben, I want Ben to know that the door is wide open now. But I also want him to be prepared that it's going to be a tough slog. I don't want him to have any hails or graces that, I've done it now. No. This is actually the beginning of a new beginning.
Yes.
Once that book is out there, he will be questioned about that book. He'll be asked to go on podcasts. He'll be asked about, where's this book taking you? What do you want to do with it? Why did you do that chapter? How did you get over this? There's going to be lots of questions, and I want him to know that I'm here to prepare him, to prepare his mindset, to solidify what he's done in his book. He'll almost have to have that book as a mantra.
And know it inside and out. And then it's his journey. Of course he knows it inside and out.
Of course, but somebody may say, in chapter 7, when you said such and such.
He needs to know that chapter 7.
He needs to be on his own book as a regular basis.
I agree.
Reading a chapter a night and just re-engaging with that. And that means he may have triggers every now and then. So he's going to have to draw back into his regression and learn how to control it. And that is specifically why I put certain parts in the script about, do you want to stop? And we need to control your emotions. And that's why I did it in that manner. It's a test run.
Mm-hmm. Now you explain it, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Fantastic.
I just want him to be prepared.
Yes, yeah. And he's very, very lucky to have you in his life. He's very, very blessed to have you in his life. And it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. Let's go for tonight. Let's do it.
Yeah,
we're only an hour and something away. Let's do it.
Hello, my name's Nina Churchill, and I'm a friend of Ben's, and my role in the show is acting as his mother, and also I've been switched to a guard.
Switched to a guard too?
In the prison, yes.
Wow.
A quick switch behind the scenes.
Definitely. Was that a lastminute.com or?
No, it was planned from the beginning. It's just when you're here in the actual church where it's being played, you kind of see the logistics of it and try and plan it in.
100%. So who is Ben Butler to you, and what connection do you have with Ben?
Well, Ben Butler to me is a dear, dear man, and I've known him for about 10 years, my family and I. We met at a gym in Bristol in David Lloyd's because we were both training to be a PT, and we just had an instant connection. It was just lovely, it was fluid, it was perfectly natural, and during the course of the PT course, he ended up staying with us, and we just went to the course every day for about 6 weeks and just qualified as PTs. And what I didn't know at the time, which he kept from me, was that he was going through a really tough time behind the scenes. And we then went our separate ways. He moved to where he needed to move for his family, and I moved with mine. And about 7-8 years later, I got a call from him out of the blue saying that he's started to write a book about his story, and how that book is really contributing positively. It's a collection and a collaboration of all his work and his story in order to help others.
Yeah, and what a nice thing, what a nice thing to do. To me, everyone has one book in them. Do you know what I mean? We've all got a story.
Yes.
Whether people choose to share it is a different thing, but everyone has at least one book, I think, personally. We've obviously, the different experiences they go through and stuff. So I think it's amazing that he's putting his story out there in order to help other people.
I'm just taken aback with how much inside of this man is coming out, and it's touching so many people far and wide. I'm emotional about the whole thing. Yesterday we did rehearsals, and it's the first time that we've all come to one place in the physical. We have been rehearsing on Zoom every week since November. Every week without fail, we've showed up on our Zoom wherever we are in the country and just did our bit. But last night was the first time we actually met everybody, and it was the magnitude of what he's done and how he's put it together just hit me. Mm-hmm. I'm so looking forward to this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I'm so looking forward to watching the impact it's having on people who are coming to watch it.
I think everyone's been very committed so far, haven't they? For sure, 100%. So what does it mean to you personally to be a part of the show about someone who was so misunderstood their entire life?
It's humbling. It's really, really humbling. I've got to know one of his friends called Cayman, and Cayman's story is fascinating as well. And Cayman's story started with Ben putting positivity in him, and so many years later he's a completely different man living a completely different life. And that's what he is showing me to be. And
that's all it can take sometimes, isn't it? A bit of positivity and a mentor or someone that can inspire, and it can shape your whole life.
Totally. If you have one person believing 100%. In you, that's all it takes.
Yeah, you often hear of these stories where, a teacher has unknowingly, said a certain comment or helped someone with something, and they never forget it into their adolescence,
Yeah.
It can be quite powerful, that.
And never to judge someone by their cover,
exactly.
Because he is so astute at looking at people and reading them really well. I hope what he's doing here today is actually spread, and he gets the chance to do it somewhere else in another area, because I think seeing it on stage will have such a huge impact for someone who doesn't feel comfortable reaching out.
Absolutely. And I think this will really help that.
I hope so.
And, you know, with obviously having so many different people involved, you know, each of these people, you know, like myself, like yourself, like many other people, they've all got a different journey, a different path, and, you know, different associates as well. So hopefully we can spread the word of this.
Yeah, it's so heartwarming.
Definitely,
really
yeah. So are there any moments in the show where your character misjudges Ben?
I think as the mum, probably because the mum's dealing with her own stuff and the own decisions she's made has consequences and an impact on him. Probably I feel that probably she misunderstood what she was putting him through, perhaps. I'm saying that super sensitively. I also think that being a guard, though I've never been a guard myself, they do a wonderful job. But there are guards just as there are people who misunderstand where the prisoners are and how they got there and perhaps what their potential is.
Yeah, 100%. What was your initial reaction when you read the script and learned about your character's role in Ben's play?
Well, when I read the script, I thought it's a very interesting story, but it has grown so much since. When I read it, it was font on paper.
Okay, yeah.
And when he explained it a little bit, it was great, but it's just taken a life of its own. And
Definitely.
Tonight's going to be the same.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of Ben Butler's personality or legacy?
The depth that he's got to offer.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah, he's so approachable. He is so relatable. And he has a lot of patience. He's a brilliant listener. Reads people really well. And you know, you might have my own life experience, and he's quite an exceptional man. He really is.
Yeah, and I think like it's far too easy to judge someone based on their appearance, you know, the tattoos and
the way they talk,
their
education, their upbringing. My God, he could. For me, he's the type of guy that could sit with the Pope and have a conversation, and he can also sit with someone who society considers even on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Which he has.
He would not judge anyone.
Absolutely, no. I think it's a really good quality to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely is a good quality to have. So why do you think people historically or within the show's narrative struggle to understand Ben Butler?
Because they have their own preconceived idea, first of all, on imagery, then probably how he chooses to express himself, lack of patience, their own stress, their own fear. Because I think Ben's the kind of guy that will see the real you, and that's very a vulnerable thing when you've got someone looking at you straight in the eye and you think, oh, I can't hide who I am.
Yes, he is a very good judge of character.
Yeah.
That was one of the comments when me and him first met when he came to my podcast, because believe it or not, you know, the podcast that we did, although we'd only known each other 5 minutes, like on that day was the very first time we'd met, and we jumped straight into a very intimate setting in my studio when we began a podcast, and by the time we'd finished you would never have known that we'd only just met, you know. And I think that's a really good quality to have. And he did say to me, you know, I can tell you're a nice guy, Dribbz. And I'm like, really? You hardly know me? He went, I'm a good judge of person. So you kind of saying that,
he's very personable, isn't he?
Backs up exactly what he was saying, you know. So with this then, how has being in the production, has it changed the way you perceive judgment or identity or even, you know, perception?
I think I'm a pretty open-minded person and had a wide girth of experience in my life. However, when something this incredible comes along, it really makes me check myself again. So it kind of strips away all the nonsense that I thought I didn't have.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Scoops up the barrel and says, okay, Nina, do you realize you're mixing with the salt of the earth here? You know, the people that have got right down and dirty in the gutters and come up.
Yeah, and that's
and he's the one that reaches the hand out and just pulls them up.
No, I totally agree.
With these kind of folk that are brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So in your opinion then, was Ben misunderstood because of how he acted, you think, or because of how others seen him?
Both.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah. If you really look, you'll see his heart. Yeah. If you really look.
Why do you think stories about misunderstood figures are important to tell on stage?
I think it's a form of hope for people that are misunderstood who come and watch it, because it gives them a sense of relatability and a point of contact. That's one. I think it also encourages people to be who they are and not pretend.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I have obviously my conception of being misunderstood, based on, you know, like I said, the tattoos, the tracksuits, the shades. People will look at me and they'll perceive this thing until they actually take the time to talk to me, and I think that's so important, not to judge. And I think, like, if my listeners to this podcast special, Ben's Stage, if they can take anything away, is just don't judge people, because there's so much more to people. If you spend the time talking to people, you can have a totally different perception.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's no need to be afraid of someone who's different.
100%, yeah. Now, I know what I want my listeners to take away, but what message do you hope that the audience walk away with after watching this show?
That there is hope, that there is a way through, and just be honest with yourself and keep going.
Definitely, yeah, that's sterling advice. I love that. So we're going to finish it there. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
It's been a pleasure. And it's great to meet you.
Yeah, and you. And I look forward to tonight. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, let's do it.
Absolutely.
It's your boy J.R. the Lion, Caribbean guy. I'm gonna be playing Ben's dad, and I'll also be playing a guard in the prison scene. Yeah?
Wicked. Okay, so we're all here today to obviously support Ben, help him bring this performance from an idea into reality. Who is Ben Butler to you?
So, like, I recently moved up here about 1.5 years ago, and I met Ben about 1 year ago. And from that point till now, that's my brother.
Yeah, man.
We kicked it off one time. We met we went to see the blue moon, and it was cloudy as hell, so we couldn't see nothing. It was funny, but the conversations that night were what kicked it off for us. And Ben's always there supporting me, so I'm always there supporting him as well, 100%, bro. You ain't even gotta ask. Like, if he got something going on, I'm gonna be there to support him, you know?
Yeah, man, I'm sure that means a lot to him, do you know what I mean? That's
so.
brotherhood right there, bro.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Respect.
And, like, it doesn't matter whether you've known him 10, 20 years or fucking 3 weeks, man. This is Ben. Like, he's a likeable guy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, definitely. A real one.
Definitely, yeah. What does it mean to you then, bro, personally, to be part of the show about someone who was misunderstood their entire life?
I'll tell you what it mean to me, bro. Other than just being a part of it to support somebody who mean a lot to me, I could understand where bro coming from heavily, you know? Because of battling fought with my demons as well, and to see a friend of mine's go through that and stand behind of it and do what he's doing, writing a book, putting stuff in motion that could change, you know what I mean? Change not just him alone, his situation, but could inspire other people like me as well. I'm inspired because I always wanted to write a book on my story. And just to be able to sit with Ben and know, bro, he did it, bro. So what am I waiting on? Exactly. Best to start putting pen to paper, 100%, you know what I mean?
Man.
So
if Ben can do it, man, anyone can do it, bro. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I suppose it does give people hope, man. I was saying to my last guest then, like, all of us in life and the things that we've been through, we've all got at least one book in us. Do you know what I mean? Whether people choose to share it, that's a different thing.
That's true.
We've all got one book in us, man.
Definitely,
do you know what I mean?
bro.
Of our journey to where we got to.
I feel like I got a couple volumes, bro.
Hey, come on. New Testament and Old Testament being in the church, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So, how do you prepare to portray a character in a story so centered around being misunderstood?
Well, for me, kind of easy because I've been misunderstood for most of my life as well. So, fitting in a character role. When I was younger, I used to do theater. You know, I was in a group. We used to portray scenes from Africa, stuff, just random stuff, you know. But it was always well executed, you know. So, fitting myself in a role, to me, I feel like I'm doing a big budget Hollywood movie right now, bro. I feel good in this position, man. I definitely gonna put my all to it and
love that.
Get a man an Oscar-worthy performance.
He needs it, man. Ben Butler deserves his flowers, man.
100%,
do you know what I mean? He deserves it. And I ain't talking about nettles. I'm talking about decent flowers. Do you know what I mean? It's right, he deserves his flowers, but he's a very humble guy, and if you ask him if he deserves his flowers, he'd probably say no. But I've told him, man, Ben needs to own this shit. He needs to own that he's got a book on the go. He needs to own that he's got a play, because this is everything that too many men out there talk about and never do, bro.
I told him so the last time we were on the phone talking together, bro. Honestly, I said, bro, listen, just stop doubting yourself. because what you've done to this point, a lot of people can't even make the first step or write the first line, and you've accomplished, bro. Come on, you could do it, bro. Just don't let it get to you. Sometimes you gotta actually like pull back. You know, if you're getting overwhelming in life, take a step back, get a breather, and then go back at it full force again. This is the same advice I give, bro. You know, because we all know it get overwhelming out here, bro.
What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of Ben Butler's personality? See, my last guest, I was saying about like appearance, man. People will see the tattoos, you know what I mean? They'll see the clothes and the vibe, and they can always try to just misunderstand,
just
man.
Judge you.
Judge you. That's the word, bro.
Yeah,
Judging.
I think that would be the right thing to say, because I've fell in certain situations similar to that as well, where just being how I look, you're judged.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. You walk in a place, you can see the eyes. People don't have to say something. Usually it ain't always about somebody verbally saying something. It's a look, it's a vibe. You could feel it, you could sense it, you know what I mean? But personally, me, bro, I grew up on an island where it was majority black people. So I've never really felt racism like that. So even now, when it tries to rear its ugly head at me, I kind of laugh it off, because I'm not letting nobody ruin my day, bro. You have to physically assault me in order for me to ruin my day for you.
So how long have you been in the UK now, bro?
It's a year and a half.
Year and a half? Is that it, man? That's short, jeez. You were going to tell me 10, 15 years, man.
10, 15,
not a year
bro,
and a half.
I just come up here, bro. 10,
come on.
15.
To be fair, like, I was thinking, why have I not met you sooner? You know, our paths would have crossed sooner.
Yeah,
but
definitely, bro. Think about it. That's how fast them cross.
That's how fast.
Yeah.
I
just planting my roots now, man.
Well, you're doing the right thing, man.
Yeah,
it's all about networking, do you know what I mean?
Always,
and like,
brother.
you know, with artists and like-minded people, they gravitate to each other,
100%.
do you know what I mean? And like, I've got followers and supporters, and you know, you have on your side, and I think like by doing things like collaborations, it brings the people together, man.
100%.
Because a lot of my supporters who may not have heard of you and vice versa, man. So it's always a beautiful thing. So I know me and you in the future are looking at doing like a cheeky collab.
100%.
And I am well down for that, bro.
Me too, bro.
Well down for that. So what do you think causes someone to be misunderstood for their entire life like Ben was?
I think that the issue would come with mainly communication. Sometimes it ain't your fault that you're not able to communicate your problem. Sometimes people don't want to listen. But sometimes it's on us that we don't communicate what affects us.
100%.
You know what I mean? And we don't always have to speak to the person who offends us, because that person never gonna have something good in their heart for you. So you can't expect the person who's your bully to stop.
Yeah, I get that.
But you gotta get support from somewhere else. But you have to speak about it, because in my personal opinion, if Ben had his rude awakening when he was younger, he might have been a lot further right now.
Yeah,
I probably mightn't even met him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, the time that he chose now to communicate, whether he talks to his therapist or whatever it is, he's communicating his issues.
100%, yeah.
And
100%.
that's the only that's how I could feel like he's been misunderstood for that long, because it took him that long to find not just the confidence but the trust as well. Because you could be confident as hell, but you don't trust people to tell them the stuff that really gets to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly that, man.
Yeah.
Do you think Ben, like, obviously, because you know, obviously I've known him for a short while, but you know the story by now. You know, Ben's kind of put it out there about him through podcasts, through obviously this. So you get to kind of know the overall story. Do you think Ben was judged based on how he acted, or because how others wanted to see him?
I think he acted because he was judged. Honestly, I think that I've listened to him. All he wanted to be was loved and accepted.
Yeah.
And so I think all the acting out was the fact that he wasn't getting that.
Yeah.
So I don't think the actions caused the hate. The hate caused the actions.
Exactly that, man.
Yeah.
That's a good answer, bro. That's a good answer, man. It's sterling. I 100% agree with you, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
So why do you think stories about misunderstood figures are important to tell?
Because it gives other people confidence that you're not alone in the battle, bro. And if you do choose to find the confidence and the trust in somebody that you could speak to, there's a way out of it.
100%, yeah, exactly that. And finally then, bro, what do you hope that people walk out of these doors tonight What do you hope they take away from this play?
Ben is well liked and respected, right? So I do hope that grows some more for him as well. But I hope most of the people that come to the show tonight, they would leave with a bit of empathy. And probably leave with a bit of patience. Because a so-called bad person that maybe don't want to be bad, he can't change overnight. So you do need to have patience with people in a situation, especially if they got the mindset to come forward and want to be better.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly.
So I just hope people leave with some empathy for people struggling, and again, some patience for the same type of people.
Yeah,
that's
100%. Finally then, brother, any last words for Ben?
Ben, bro, come on. I'll talk to you on the phone, but I love you. Keep your head up. We're going to the top of the world, bro. Squaw!
See, I'm hoping that this starts locally and comes nationally, man.
Yeah,
Do you know
me too.
what I mean?
Me too.
I'm hoping that other people go, you know what, I want a piece of that pie. Can we have it in here? Can we have it in there?
It's going to happen.
But you have to start somewhere, man.
That's it right there. If you don't take that first step, you ain't going nowhere, bro.
Exactly that, exactly that. Big up, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Respect.
Come on.
I'm Pewey, Ben Pugh, and I'm playing guitar and also playing one of the inmates in the prison scene.
Nice. So who is Ben Butler to you then, bro?
I've known him, probably 16 years, something
Serious?
like that. Yeah, fair while. Like, we've had our ups and downs, both had similar, gone through not similar things, but obviously with mental health, you go through your dark patches and
100%.
Get out the other side. So both been through that. We both love music. We both, to be fair, the biggest thing in common that we've first found is we both love Michael Jackson.
Hey.
And yes, and then there's loads of other loads of other music that we like. So
come on then, bro. I'm just going to put it out there. Well, there's no one around, so no one's going to judge you. What is your favourite MJ track?
Dirty Diana.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Do you know what mine is? It might be a bit controversial. You might go, bro, that's the worst one. Man in the Mirror, man. I fucking love Man in the Mirror.
I like it.
I like the message of it and that. But yeah, anyway, just changing the subject. So what does it mean to you to be performing on this and on, one of your really good friends' performances?
For me, it's like, I just think it's good what he's doing, how he's helping people, and for me, through what I've been through personally, like anything to do with mental health and helping people not make mistakes and get out of dark times is, I just think it's a really good thing to, be part of.
100%. What do you think's the most misunderstood aspect of Ben Butler's personality?
Misunderstood about Butler. I don't know really. I just think that with all the ups and downs that he's done, I think what he wants to put back into like the youth of today is it's kindness.
100%. A lot of people can just obviously go on their own journey and just keep it all to themselves and that, but the fact that he's kind of, not only is he trying to help people, he's laying down some of his most personal things and sharing it with people, man, and that can be quite personal to people. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, that's another thing. Like, if you would have asked me a year ago if I that we would have been doing this, like me, Butler, Plowman,
you said no chance.
I'd have said no way. But so yeah, bravery as well, I suppose, for getting up and actually doing it, and because a lot of people wouldn't.
Nah. Have you ever felt that you've been misunderstood in your own life?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
Certain ways, yeah.
It's so easy to do that, I mean, I get judged all the time for like the matching tracksuits, the tattoos, and the cap, the shades, and it's mad, man. Until people actually sit down with me, they go, "Oh, he ain't gonna rob my house," or do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I've been on the other side of it, bro, where I've judged someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've been walking down the road and three skinheads have come covered in tattoos, and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, what's gonna go on here?" And they've just gone, "You all right, mate?" And that's it. Do you know what I mean? So like, I've been on the other end of judging that. So I do get it that people do naturally judge. Like, so what did you learn about the real Ben that surprised you? I'm guessing not a lot, because you've known him for time.
Yeah, no, not a lot, to be fair. I've known him too long to be surprised.
So has this production and like just getting involved in it, has it changed the way you think about judgment, identity, and perception?
I just think it takes one person, like brave person, to actually step forward and actually speak about stuff, and then hopefully other people will come out of the dark.
Definitely, bro. Yeah, great answer, man. In your opinion, then, was Ben misunderstood because of how he acted or because of how others wanted to see him?
How he reacted to
good. Yeah, good answer. So it's more of the reaction then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what I think a lot of people have misunderstood. It's the way they react to situations, and it's not the best way to react to it, but it's the way that they feel at that time is the only way.
Exactly that. Why do you think stories about misunderstood figures are important to tell?
Like I said before, just to bring other people out of the dark, and for them to not feel like they have to keep it to themselves.
Exactly.
And go down like paths to try and numb it with different things.
Yeah.
So.
Finally then, bro, what do you hope that people that attend tonight, what do you hope they take away?
Well, I hope they take away, again, everything that he's doing with New Generation Coaching, and like to buy the book and like actually read it and take something away from what he's been through, and a lot of people relate to it, and obviously they can even perhaps go and meet him and go to different things that he does and just learn.
Yeah, man, spot on. And finally then, any last words for Ben?
Yeah, good luck tonight. I'll see you out there.
Yeah, I'm Joe. I'm Ben's best mate in real life and in the play.
Hey,
I'm playing myself.
That's handy, man. That's the inside. You're playing yourself.
I'm playing myself.
Yeah, that's all good. Well, no one knows you better than yourself, bro. So, yeah, good luck on that one. Firstly, obviously, we're all here to support Ben and help him to bring this performance from an idea into a reality. Who is Ben Butler to you?
So, obviously, he's my best mate, but, like, we've been best mates since we were 14, 15, so most of his story is my story. So, it's like, I'm just, supporting him along, watching the change him, watching him grow. We both got our shit together as life's gone on, and it's nice to see him flourish, really.
That's it, man. What was your initial reaction when you read the script and learned about your character role in Ben's play?
I'll be honest, the original script, when we first started reading it, as I say, this is completely out of my comfort zone, all this, but I jumped on it and I was like, that's wrong, I'm not having that, that's not right.
Yeah. I'm not wearing a tutu, I ain't fucking dancing.
I wasn't so much about me, it was just making sure Ben's shown in the right light.
Yes.
That was, because at the end of the day, it's for him, innit? So.
Exactly, man, exactly. Are there moments in the show where your character is, like, made out to judge Ben?
Nah, not overly. So I haven't got too much speaking, too much. I think, to be honest with you, my bit was just made up to make me be in it.
Yeah, well,
I didn't want to be.
It's important.
I think Ben made me up just to get me
just
in. Just
remember, bro, whatever you're feeling, it's important to him that you're here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It means a lot to him. What do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of Ben Butler's personality?
Oh, that's it. See, it's a hard one, because back in the day, it was, it was just him. That's how he was. It wasn't necessarily. I mean, it misunderstood's completely right for it. But back in the day, it wasn't overly misunderstood. He was exactly what he was. You know. But as obviously as time's gone on, he's grown and whatever, and people don't really see that change. Small town mentality, though, isn't it? People don't want to see people succeed. Yeah. So I think that's certainly people don't want to. People would rather just go, "What the fuck's he doing?" rather than actually respect the fact that he's growing and trying and changing.
That's exactly it, man. And in relation to obviously yourself, obviously you don't have to go into too much detail. You can be as brief as you want, bro. But have you felt misjudgment in your life?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You sort of grow up a certain way around certain people and whatever. And as I say again, going back to it, I don't think it's necessarily misjudgment. You become what you aren't.
Yes, that's exactly
and
it.
You become this person, and if you've grown up a different time, different place, around different people, you probably never would have become that person.
Yeah. Is there anything you learnt about Ben Butler that surprised you?
Not really. Me and him have been tight since we were kids. So
I've always known.
I mean, the bad man facade never really pulled the wool over my eyes. Do you know what I mean? It was, even back in the day when we were all plastic gangsters and shit, like it was, I knew I could see straight through it, like as he could with me as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think causes someone to be misunderstood for their entire life, like Ben was?
I mean, it's how circumstance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's the cards you dealt.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you grow up in a certain way around certain things, and certain things happen, and they shape you into being the person what you might necessarily wouldn't have been in another way.
Spot on,
know?
man. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Butler always had it worse because he was doing blackline round town. That's the reality of it. You know, everyone just it's the easy thing, you know. And I don't think a lot of it was necessarily malicious. You know, it's same as called a fat kid fat and a ginger kid ginger. But obviously, when you hear something every single day of your life, it's going to get to you, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it's going to drag you down, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
So yeah, so finally then, bro, it's it's nice to talk to you. It's nice to fucking finally meet you. Med's obviously told me a lot about you. All good things, bro.
Yeah, of course.
What are you hoping that the people that attend tonight take away?
For me, it's. I mean, obviously, we're all here to promote his book, so I hope he gets the sales and gets the promotion that he wants from it. Yeah. Me personally, it's.
That's it, man. And any final comments towards Ben?
Nah, he's a twat.
He's a twat.
He's my twat.
He's a twat, but he's my twat. I love it. I love it. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Yes, people, and welcome back to the Dribbz Talks podcast, where we dive into the stories behind the storytellers. Now, today's episode is a special one. It's personal, it's powerful, and it's all about turning life into art. I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Ben Butler, who took a bold and brave step in his journey. He wrote a play based on his own life. That's right, the ups, the downs, the moments of doubt, and the sparks of hope, all laid bare on the stage. We're talking about what inspired him, what it was like to see his story performed in front of an audience, and what he learned along the way. This is more than just going behind the scenes to look at the planning and the production. It's a conversation about vulnerability, creativity, and healing through storytelling. So grab a seat and let's get into it. Let's start from the beginning then, Ben. So tell me, what made you decide to write a play about your own life?
First of all, Jeanette, would hate this, would want me to say this. She wrote the play. I produced it and I was the casting director. What made me want to do it? I didn't even think I was gonna do a play. It was actually Jeanette that sort of got in contact with me. A few weeks after I went to a Black Yard exhibition in Birmingham, and I should have had a talk or something there, but I didn't. But I just went there to sort of check it out, because the woman that was helping me write my book was there, and she introduced me to Jeanette, and Jeanette said, "I'll get in contact with you one day," and literally she got in contact with me a week later and said, "I'm doing your play. I'm writing the play." Yeah. So I didn't want to do it because I didn't really know her. I didn't know what she was getting. Like, I didn't know what she was after. Like, people saying they're going to do something for you, always think what's in it for them.
Yeah. Get that.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Crazy. Right. So I know that obviously, like you've said, it wasn't just you responsible for this play. Yeah. You've had some great input in helping you write and create this. Could you give a special mention to some of the amazing people that have helped you create this vision into reality?
Yeah, of course. So obviously Jeanette is the first one that I'd like to give a shout out to. She put me on the pedestal of hopefully directing my own sort of plays in the future. Obviously Laura from Yellow Ribbon. She's helped me throughout. In fact, she's helped me from once I started doing my presentations and workshops with young people. Tark, who I've been collaborating with for a number of years now. I was like a volunteer for them in 2019, 20, and they've obviously seen me grow. Obviously yourself, Dribbz, that supported me. I'll tell you what, the music and that play, I've had loads of people come up to me and say how that's the prison song that you did was like very moving.
Love that.
Yeah, and obviously my friends that are involved in it, Ploma, Ben Pugh, Cayman, Nina, JR, and is that everyone? Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you covered everyone there, yeah?
Everyone, yeah.
And obviously all the people that attended as well, man, because they're
Obviously,
just
yeah.
as important as the
Of
cast,
course
aren't
they are. Yeah.
You know?
If I didn't have them there, obviously, I wouldn't have... It wouldn't have happened. Do you know what I mean? And all the people that turned up, I think there was about around 100 people or so, maybe just under, I don't know. And I know there was at least 12 people that messaged me, 12, 13, saying that they couldn't make it. So there could have been about 120 people that turned up, but the 3/4 of them people that turned up were people from my old childhood.
Love that.
People that I've worked with. My daughter's godmother was there, Rebecca from Recharge. Excuse me. She was there. There was just everyone there that had an investment in me was there.
And I often find, like, you know, you could have had 1,000 people turn up, but it's quality over quantity, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the people that were there had meanings to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the show, it was doing my nutting because I couldn't, I wanted to say thanks to everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas if there was just 1,000, 2,000 people there that you don't really know, you just say your goodbyes, whatever. But because there was 70, 80 people that were there for me, I was like, oh, God, I need to go and say hello to everyone. Do you know what I mean? I
think you did a pretty good job of catching up with people, and you were stood in one place, and I could see there was just people flocking to you afterwards. So you know what I mean? It must have been a very good feeling for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
What was so with Janetti and yourself? What was the first scene or the idea that you wrote down, and how did the process begin for you?
So I got the manuscript for the book. And she wanted to go through it, and then she literally chose certain chapters in that book, or scenes in the book where she felt that we could pull it in a church, because obviously the majority of the book wouldn't be able to be put out in a church. So she went through that and got the script out, sent it me. I looked at it. I liked it, but there was a lot of tweaking to do to it. But that was me then needing to do it. So she gave me that sort of role to go through the script, tweak it, and sort of make it how I wanted it.
Yeah, how you visioned it to be.
How I visioned it, and also obviously she didn't know my friends, so she didn't know how our conversations happen with each other. Do you know what I mean? So she just did it how she thought it went. So I obviously tweaked it in that sense with the conversations between me and Joe and that.
Yeah, I get you. How did you approach turning real life experiences into a narrative play? Did you stick to facts, or did you exaggerate certain encounters to create a more intense? No, straight away. To create a more intense atmosphere for people that attended your play.
No,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Everything's factual.
Yeah,
exactly how it was.
Yeah.
I get that, bro. I appreciate that.
In fact, I probably died a lot of it down. Well, I had to die a lot of it down because I'm in a church.
Yeah.
So the scenes, the talks on drugs, the situations that happened with the racism and all that, that was just a little sort of insight into racism that I've had. So in fact, all of that was factual but died down.
So if people were shocked about what they learned with that play, they'd be even more shocked with the facts. Do you know what I mean? The more detailed facts. Do you think that your book is it covers a lot more than the play did?
Yeah, I've had this conversation with people, and when I was in the play, I explained in my notes when I was reading the notes out to the counsellor, which was Janetti, to say that there's still 3/4 left of the notes that I've got. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot more for me to sort of talk about. So them scenes that we did were probably the trying to pull it in a way they were the really smallest situations that happened in my life.
Just like a brief kind of outline, right? Like an overview.
A bit of an overview.
Yeah, I get that.
Of my life. So I explained this to people that turned up, and I had people in tears. This one woman couldn't stop bloody following me around, and she ended up buying my book, and she said, "Oh, this was mad. Like, oh, I can't believe you went through this." And I just said, "Well, when you buy that book, yeah, just letting you know that's only like a little snippet." Natalie as well from Talk, she was sat next to me. She was crying, literally in tears, and she kept hugging me and all that and saying, "I'm sorry, Ben," even though she's not family. We are sort of family, but I just said, "Well, that's not even. You haven't even scrubbed the surface yet. That's just some of it."
And I'm guessing that's kind of not what you're looking for.
No,
because you're not the type of lad that needs, like people to feel sorry for you, bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't. Well, you don't come across that way as if you want people to get the violins out and that, but you know what I mean. It's true life experiences, and I guess people do have hearts, so they kind of relate it to things that they may have experienced, and it would bring a lot of emotions out for someone that was watching the play. Now, as you've heard previously in the podcast from some of the cast of the play, their take of being misunderstood was very different for each individual. But I'd like to know from you, in writing about the play with Janetti, you've tackled the theme of being misunderstood. What made you want to explore that feeling through the lens of theatre?
Don't know. I really don't know. Thinking about it now, I think the book is there so people can read. Doing it in a show, people can see it visually. Do you know what I mean? And can visually see me talking about my sort of my past, or the way I've dealt with certain situations and scenarios. So I think that was that, in a sense, is why I've done that. But I didn't think of it at that time. I just thought I was just going ahead with what Janetti was saying. I just thought it's a bigger audience, more people will be able to see it and all that. But then deepening it, people then actually get to visualise your sort of situations. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly that. When you started writing this play, did you know that the theme of being misunderstood would be at the core of it, or did it emerge as you went along?
That's a good question. I'd probably, when I was going through the script,
I'm guessing there was always a certain element of misunderstood, because that's what your book's called at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just going through the script in itself, you can sort of see there's a young person, there's a young boy that's sort of getting misled, misunderstood, doesn't know sort of what direction he's going in, and getting like dragged from pillar to post. You know what I mean? So you can, it's literally, as you read in the script, you can see it anyway. You literally can see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You definitely can. Now, obviously, alongside Janetti, was there a turning point in the writing process where you realised that the play was becoming a form of self-expression and a way to finally be understood?
Yeah. So I think, do you know what? Because she was counselling me, so the whole sort of scenario of her sort of counselling me, that in itself was me realising that I was sort of like understanding where I'm at in life. Do you know what I mean? Where I am, that I need this help to progress in life. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Did you find that the writing about your life gave you the opportunity to clear up some of the misunderstandings, like even if only for yourself?
Yeah. So the racism bit is definitely something that I've struggled with, because, like I've said in the previous podcast about me being like a black neo-Nazi, there's times in my life, in my adult life, where I've reacted to some people or someone in a racist term, and I think going through that script and sort of realising the struggles that I went through, sort of made me realise that, sort of put like another sort of thing into my head where I'm like, just sort of, sometimes you just realise, you need to realise where you've come from, and also with the violence, the drugs, and also all that, and me helping people as well. I think that play just made me realise where I've come from and where I'm at now. Yeah,
more importantly, how far you've come. Come on. I was saying this to Janetti, and you'll hear this, because at the moment, for the benefit of the listeners, Ben still hasn't heard the interviews that I did with the cast before the show, and they were some really good insight interviews. You know, they talked about what Ben meant to them, what the feelings of misunderstood meant to them, that, you know, the terms, whether they've been misunderstood in their life. So it was really quite detailed, and, you know, I'm looking forward to putting this all together for Ben to listen to. Did you worry about how the audience might interpret your life story, especially with the underlying theme of misunderstood?
I wouldn't have cared.
I like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have cared, because my story is for people to understand their own home environment, possibly, or whatever their child or people that are around them that are going through, and if they couldn't take anything from that, then they shouldn't have really turned up. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. I don't care. I'm not bothered what they thought. Like, what for me, I wouldn't have. It doesn't bother me.
Keep being you, Ben.
Standard. Yeah.
You could have come on this podcast and gone, yeah, it really means a lot that people got the right idea and all that. But you've literally just sat there and gone, do you know what? I don't care whether they did or they're not. And I love that about you, Ben. So keep being you, man. That was the one thing that a lot of the cast, when I was interviewing them, were saying, that, you know, you are your own individual. You follow no trends. You are yourself, and you know, they love you for that, bro. Do you know what I mean? Aside from that, they do love you for that.
I've always been like that ever since, like, as a young person. Like, people have like, if we had sort of differences between certain estates and certain people, I was the one that, if I liked you, I like you, and if I didn't, I didn't. And if I want to do something, I'll do it. And if you don't like it, then I don't care whether you like it or not. I like it, and I don't care whether you like it or not. And that's me, and I've always been like that, and that's what I will always be like.
I love that. Has writing the play changed the way that you communicate with others, or how you express yourself, especially when it comes to being misunderstood? I pretty much know this answer based on what you've just said.
No,
it hasn't. There you go. I could have answered that myself, to be fair.
Not a chance. I am like, you've got ADHD like me, so you know what it's like. I don't think before I speak, so I have to process things in my head. I think going through the script and going through it, there were certain things that I know that I possibly have learnt from, but it's never going to change who I am.
Yeah, love that. How did it feel for you to finally put your life story on the page and share it with the world, like knowing that it might open up the possibility of others understanding you better?
Do you know what? I think I spoke to a few people at the end of the show, and I just needed to shut off. My head was like, because of obviously my ASD and all that as well, I couldn't take in all the emotions, and everyone's like smiling or crying of happiness. Like, I couldn't process it, so I had to, like,
a little bit overwhelmed, bro. Yeah,
very overwhelmed, and I didn't know how to process it, except for, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna have a couple of days but I didn't have a couple of days because I had River the day after, and then I think on the Sunday I had something else going on the Sunday. I forgot now, but I had my daughter on the Saturday, so I didn't really shut off, but I had a lot of time to recuperate and just get some sleep. And then when I did process it, I just felt I felt quite emotional. I probably shed a tear, I think, just realising how much love I had and support. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realise, coming from someone that doesn't sort of take compliments very well, or is very used to, I thrive off negativity, and that pushes me forward. That's how I sort of that's where I've got to where I am now. But to have people there saying how much they love and support me and all that is just a really hard sort of process to sort of get through. I think that you need to bear that one in mind in the future, mate. You know what I mean? When you've got times when you're feling low and feeling hopeless, do you know what? You need to remember this shit. Yeah, no, I agree with you, because I think when you spoke about me on the stage, I thought then, I really do need to realise that I've got a lot of people out there that love and support me, and like the negative people, like I shut negative people out anyway. I'm quite good at that, and I thrive off them, but I need to sort of build my ego up a little bit and start taking the pros and all that without like sort of like pushing it to the side and all that.
And that can be like, from an outsider, that can be easier said than done, kind of.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? When you've had a
yeah.
life of negativity, how can you just suddenly switch and go, I'm going to welcome all the positivity in? But
Yeah.
I think as a learning curve for yourself, I don't know. You're
No,
your
I
own
agree.
person.
No, I get it. I completely
You
get
need
it.
to be
bro.
more open to that now.
I need to be more open to it, and I need to embrace it. It's just, it just feels a bit weird at the moment.
I think like the thing that I'm massively proud of for you is like, I know so many people that talk about doing these things but never put it into play.
Yeah.
Whereas you're getting things done.
Yeah, I get shit done, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're getting things done, so like you got to give respect on that. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's so many people out there that sit on their sofas going, yeah, I'd like to write a book about my life. I'd like to maybe do a play about my life, but they just do the same old thing in the same routine every day. But things are getting done, and you know what I mean, people are coming together to support you to get this vision come into reality. So thinking back to the play itself,
Yeah.
was there a particular scene or a line in the play that felt like a breakthrough for you, like a moment when you felt that you were finally getting your story across?
Yeah, I think I don't think it might have been the time the sort of, you know, when I'm struggling with the racism sort of thing, where I'm scrubbing my skin and wanting to be white and stuff. I reckon that with me chilling with, I can't say his name, but the neo-Nazi bloke, when his daughter was gouching out from heroin, I reckon them sort of scenes would have not hit home to a lot of people, but I think that would have triggered a lot of the African and Caribbean communities that were in the church to think, fuck, like, do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of the white people that were there, especially with the people that I grew up with, probably sat back and thought, fuck, that probably is fucking mental.
Yeah.
Because they knew all this stuff, a lot of them did, but we just grow up thinking it's just normal, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like them sort of scenes and scenario, the prison scenes and all that, that's prison, innit?
Yeah.
But in terms of them sort of situations of the self-identity sort of parts, I think a lot of them, that would have hit home to a lot of people.
I must say, like, sitting backstage, and obviously you mentioning the, you know, about the heroin and all that, you did see a few people at the front, man, their eyes widened, you know what I mean? They were like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
That was normal though. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was just I skived school that day and just went to go and smoke some weed, and he's like, hey, my daughter, she's gouching out on the bed, don't sit on her, like that, in his Scottish accent and that.
Jeez.
And then we just like sat on the edge of the bed and just started smoking spliffs and then taking a few shotties and that, and I think she's about 14, probably 13, 14.
Dark times, man. Dark times. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, the one who felt misunderstood, what would you say now that you've written the play?
Give him a cuddle.
Yeah. Bit of self-care, right?
Self-care, man. Like, hug, TLC, just let them know that you're loved and all that. Do you know what I mean? Because me now, I'm struggling with feeling loved. I struggle with it. I push people away. I really do struggle with it. Where if the younger me and I was looking at him, I'll be putting my arm around him and guiding him. Mm-hmm. Definitely showing him support.
100%.
Probably knocking the dad and mum out at the same time.
Do you feel that writing this play has helped you like reconcile with being misunderstood throughout your life, or is it an ongoing journey still?
I think it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah, like you said, you can't just switch it, man. You can't just switch it. A play isn't going to change that. It's going to help, but it ain't going to change it.
It's not going to change. So, like, obviously, me and you have had brief conversations. So, there is conversations about a film or documentary. So, I reckon in the next 2 to 4 years there'll be a film out, and I want it on Netflix. Don't know how it's going to get done. It's going to get done. Laura, I think, and Jeanette, I've got people that are all sort of on board with it. So that's going to be the misunderstood film.
There you go, man. You've heard it. Exclusive here. Yeah, exclusive
here. It'll happen. 100% it will happen.
I know it'll happen because you're saying it. You know, like you said, you get shit done.
Yeah,
so,
man.
You know what I mean? You're not just going to talk about it and it ain't going to happen. I know this.
And then I feel like more people will have that opportunity to understand when they feel misunderstood. There'll be thousands, millions of people or whatever that get to see it and sort of take something from it.
Definitely. Were there parts of your story that were particularly difficult to revisit?
Not really.
No?
No,
I'm shocked at that. I thought there might have been 1 or 2 scenes that was a bit like, this is a bit too close to home. I'm finding this a little difficult.
No, I've gone through it now.
Yeah.
I think I've gone through 10, 11 years of counselling. I feel like I'm desensitised to that now. I feel like I've shut off sort of that emotion. I think I could feel the emotion in the crowd, and I knew that certain people, especially my cousin and that, Vic and a few others, I know that they were feeling emotional. So I think I was feeling their emotions. So that was the only time or feeling that I had where I was like, they're probably getting a bit upset, or they're probably feeling something. And my cousin Gemma, obviously, she brought me into Telford, so she was a cousin that I bumped into in the sex clinic when I was in Shrewsbury, and I never knew she was my cousin. And then that was when I was like 15, 16 or something.
So thinking back, obviously, with the play, did you write this play with a specific target audience in mind, or was it more for yourself?
I think it was a bit of both, really. I think it was for myself as well, but I wanted to target people. I want people to know. Do you know what I mean? The book is all well and good of having people to read it and having whoever buys it, but I want more people to know. So the target audience really were for everyone, because there could be old people that have had kids and they've grown up in they've had a dysfunctional sort of family, and they could have had a reality check with that, or a young couple that are going through a bit of a domestic abusive relationship that could have had a bit of a sort of trigger for them. Just like I was hoping I was planting seeds in sort of everyone. Do you get what I mean?
I think you were definitely doing that, to be honest with you.
Hopefully they all go home and say sorry to their kids.
Hey! So what was it like for you, Ben, to see your life being played out on stage?
Mad.
I bet it was.
Yeah, mad.
I bet it was, yeah. I can only imagine.
It was a squeaky bum time for me. You knew this anyway.
Yeah.
When we went in the back room, fucking, who was it, said, I've never seen you go white. Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, I think it might have been Ploma or someone, and I could feel me like going in myself, and I could feel my stomach, because I've obviously suffered with my food sort of thing. My stomach was out here. I was showing Ben, I was like, look at the fuck in my stomach, and it was out here, and he was pressing it. It was like stone, like, and I was like, I'm stressed. I can't do this. I was like saying to Ploma, should we get a few lads to like stop smashing the fucking church up so we can get the place stopped and that.
Obviously not the right thing to do.
Not the right thing.
But
they were the feelings of like, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
But then I had the support. Then everyone, like, obviously we're making jokes about it, but everyone was like, nah, you got this, innit? Like, don't worry, you got it. Just zone out and just talk to Jeanette like you're talking to one of your mates about what's going on.
This is what I was saying to you. The team is strong.
Very strong, bro.
That night, the team was strong.
Yeah.
They knew what they needed to do, and they all come together for you, and you weren't by yourself on that stage.
No, I know.
At all. Even when you were sat there, you weren't by yourself.
No, I know. I could feel it as well. So, you know, like, because I'm a perfectionist, innit? So, like, like times when we were doing the play and all that, I think I spoke to you a couple of times. I needed things tweaking. I needed to make sure the intros and the outros, the timings of people coming onto the stage, all that shit was like correct. And I tell you what, like I'm telling you now, it fucking worked, didn't it?
It did. It did.
It worked, and everyone pulled together in it. And like looking at the pictures from Chris, like you can see people's expressions, and you could see like everyone was like invested. Do you get what I mean? I loved it, man.
Yeah. That is one thing I did notice. There was a picture of the crowd, and 99% of them were face forward.
Face forward.
They weren't heads in the phones. They were locked in.
Locked in and looking at everyone and looking at every sort of movement and like every sort of everything. Everyone was looking at everything.
Yeah. So has writing and sharing this play changed how you see parts of your life now?
Not really. I don't think so. I think it just makes it all me writing these things down, or even when I'd done the book, like I did the book. It makes me it makes me think of the shit that I went through, and where, like you said, where I'm at now. So that's all it does. It just sort of makes me think, fucking hell, gone through a bit of shit here, but look what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the most important part to me. Like I genuinely think, like if you can see progression, then you're onto a winner.
Exactly,
you know?
And yeah, like as long as I've said this before to you probably in the podcast, but I always have slip ups. Like I'm always gonna have a slip up. I'm always gonna have a time where I'm going to struggle with my mental health. It's something that I've sort of learnt to like deal with. I've not deal with, but I've learnt that it happens and I've accepted it. Do you know what I mean? And when I've got good people around me that know my triggers or know that I'm good. If you message me and said, "Oh, what you up to?" and I'm just like, "Bro, I'm locking off." Yeah. Like you'd get it. Do you get what I mean? Or
kind of like when I dropped you a message and went, "You've got some pictures, send them over," and you were like, "Bro, I'm tired, I'm going to bed," and I'm like, "All right, I'm not going to push it any more than that."
I get you, and then I sent it you like 2 minutes later.
You did. But after that response, I was like, "I ain't pushing it no more." He said he's going to bed. He's tired. That's fine. So yeah, if someone gets you, then yeah, that kind of makes all the difference, doesn't it? But when they're poking the bear, yeah, it's a different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now you've obviously shared all these different parts of your life. Was there any parts of the story that you almost left out, and if so, why?
There was loads of parts of the story, but that's giving people my book, innit?
Yeah, I suppose so.
So like, if I'm gonna give people, no one's gonna buy my book if I put it all out in the play. Plus, the play wouldn't be an hour and a half; it'd be fucking 24 hours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, I get you. Do you feel like you've gotten a sense of closure now, or healing from writing and sharing your story?
Yeah, but I want to do more. I think I said no straight away when I finished the show, because I had a few people come up to me like, "Oh, when's the next one coming out? Where do we go to watch
already?"
The next one? Yeah, where do we go and watch the next one? And then there was a meeting. I know Tark had a meeting. Spoke to Keita. She wants me to. They've all had a meeting and want me to do another one. So yeah, it's in the process. But I've just said, look, I'm after having that few days of like, sort of getting the emotions out and sort of having a bit of a sit down and think. As when I get my book out, then I'll look at like the other sort of side of things.
Yeah, it's got to be one step at a time, ain't it?
Yeah, I'm not jumping into something else, because that I'd like my publisher said, Marcia, she said to me about the she sort of questioned me about doing the play and book at the same time, and she goes, you have to be careful about running yourself into the ground, and about taking too much on, especially like I work for like doing stuff for the council as well. So me being Benny Big Bollocks, I'm like, no, I'll do it, innit? Yeah, and then I realised I've been ill as well from it, run down.
Yeah.
So I've thought, look, do the book first, and then we'll sort something out after.
Yeah. Now, as you know, I had the pleasure of being involved in this play, and to stand back and see all your closest people all unite and come together for you was truly something special. What did it mean for you to have your closest people together for this project?
I can't even put it into words. Literally couldn't put it into words. I can't still put it into words now. like, you were there. Nina come down from Monmouth. Do you know what I mean? That's like 4 hours away. And then my best mates were there. Like, it's just, I don't know. I still can't put it into words. Especially when the lads, Cayman and Plomer and Ben, they're come from, like, they're ex-drug dealers, ex-whatever, like...
They're definitely not actors that have done previous stuff.
They're definitely not actors. They're all workers and they graft and all that now, but they're not from that side of things, and just having them there, and obviously them there, it was just mad. And then you doing that, you telling me it was a surprise, but then you let it out, it wasn't the podcast thing that you were doing. I was like, wow, man, like you've done, like, I couldn't even when you went up on stage as well, like right at the end, because Natalie was like, I think it was Natalie saying, Dribbz has got something, and I was like, what? Anything else? And I was like, and then you went up on stage, and I was very close to tears then, very, very close. Because like we said, we've only met each other, 6-7 months, nearly a year now, I think. And you're my closest. I class you as a close friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I do, and I'll do anything for you. Like I said to you, I'll babysit for you.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
You know what? Some of the lads, when I was interviewing them, the ones that have known you like most of your life, I was interviewing them, and they were like, "Oh, so how long have you known Ben for?" And I'm like, literally, like just under a year, and they're like, "What? Really?" Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but it don't matter whether it's a year or 10 years. Does
it doesn't matter. I mean? Like, the end of the day, we've got that connection in it.
Yeah, 100%.
And that connection's for life now. So
yeah,
it was just I would still can't put it into words now.
Was there any moments during rehearsals or the performance that kind of hit differently for you because it was your friend saying these words or reliving those memories?
Yeah, Ben Pugh singing that Cast No Shadow.
Mate, he was great.
Yeah.
Big up Ben, man. He's got a great voice.
I picked the songs for Ben. Well, Ben...
Talented lad.
Very talented. Obviously, all the songs correlated with the scenes. So they all... Like, I made sure that the scenes had a song... Do you know what I mean?
Related to it. Yeah, because if I'd have, if Ben or myself had come out and done a track that had no relevance to any of the scenes, it would have been a bit odd, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah.
That Cast No Shadow is my song, my Oasis song, and that stemmed from when I went out with one of my first girlfriends, and when I went to prison, she said that was the one song that she kept listening to, and she kept saying that. Then she goes that she felt like it wasn't misunderstood, the words then that she told me. It was people just don't get who you are and don't understand what you like, who you are. And that song has stayed with me since I was 16.
Wow.
And that when he sang that song, that it owned that.
He did own it. Like I said to you this year before air, like if you close your eyes, it was literally like it was Oasis.
Yeah,
I'm being
definitely.
serious, man. Like genuinely, I'm being serious. I was dead. With the music and me doing it for so many years, I come across a lot of artists, and it could be like acoustic guitars, electric guitars, anything. Yeah. But genuinely talented lad.
Very talented. Very talented. And hopefully jumps on one of your tracks.
I hope so. Yeah, we're going to do something. Hopefully. Do you feel like the music added an emotional layer that words alone couldn't express?
Yeah, definitely. When you did Prison, because we couldn't do a lot of scenes in a prison because there's a lot of violent place in it.
Yeah,
you just did it in a song, and like that in itself showed everyone what prison's life, what prison's like, and what a young lad's going through, the emotions and the sort of turbulences that you have in prison. So yeah, definitely.
And that one was kind of based on, that track's called Reformed, and like it was, I've never been in the prison system, but I used to go and visit one of my good friends, Les, rest in peace, man. He passed away 50 years old in Winson Green in his cell, and I used to go visit him on a regular, like, and and he'd always tell me about all the bits that he'd been doing. He'd been the kind of the father figure in the wing that all the young'uns would go, because he was 50, like
the OG,
yeah, all the young'uns would go to him. They'd be like, oh man, I'm missing my partner today, or I'm missing my kids today, and he'd always listen to them. And yeah, after he passed away, the staff at Winson Green, they invited me and his son, which was an absolute honour, to go into Winson Green and go into his cell.
Wow.
And meet some of the inmates that were next to him. Bro, it was surreal. And listening to them inmates come to us, and they got tears running down their face, and they're like, can't believe he's gone. Like, he was our men, he used to help us, he used to listen to us, and that made me feel very proud to have been Les's friend, you know what I mean? And I wrote that song based off that, pretty much.
Wow.
Which you probably didn't know that, bro.
No, I definitely didn't know it, and now you explaining that to me makes me feel more privileged. So, like, again...
So was there any specific songs or moments when the music really hit you, like, wow, this is my life, and they're singing it back to me?
Yeah, again, I think your end song, the last song that you did.
Oh yeah, Be Fine.
Yeah, and Ben's song about depression. About when he was actually, that song he wrote about himself when he was struggling with alcoholism, and that them two songs really sort of thought, wow. Yeah. How
do you see the music working in the overall storytelling? Was it like a soundtrack to your memories?
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it was. The music made the play. That's how I felt. Like, if it wasn't for the music, the play wouldn't have. I don't think the play would have hit hard as much. It just all worked well together, and the music just literally, if someone didn't understand what I was talking about, which I'm sure they would, but if someone couldn't understand what I was talking about to Janetti, then I'm pretty sure the fucking music would have. Do you know what I mean? So it was just to let people know, like,
yeah, exactly that. Now, you've mentioned this already with the speeches, but after the play had finished, obviously you had several people come right to the front and to give a talk on yourself and the play.
Yeah.
What was it like hearing people give speeches? I know that obviously you don't take this well, but what was it like to hear that and talk about the play after seeing it, especially knowing that it was your life that they were reflecting on?
Didn't know how to take it. Didn't know where to look. I just wanted to get off the stage. Like, that's not me because I didn't like it. It was just because my emotions couldn't take it.
I loved it when you stepped up and they were like, right, questions, and you like answered one, answered another, probably answered a third one, and you were like, is there any more? Because I want to get off now. I'm done. Like, I love that. Because that's obviously being your true self. You could have stood there and just been false.
I ain't gonna be false to anyone. Look, I want to go. Like, at the end of the day, I'm happy you're all here, but like, I'm fucking tired now. Yeah. Like, I can't out with my emotions, innit? Was there anything that anyone said in them speeches that truly surprised you? Maybe like a perspective on your story that you hadn't really thought of before. Because there was too many things that were talked about. Your one at the end, I don't know. It was just there was too much information to take in, and I just felt the love of everyone. Your one and Laura's one. Actually Natalie's as well.
All of them.
All of them.
Go with all of them.
All of them. Yeah. Laura doing the bloody president's speech.
Hey.
We will get there.
Yeah. United together, we will conquer.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's passionate, man. You got to give Laura She's passionate.
She's ace, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of them. I just didn't know where to look. I couldn't really take all the information in because I was just so positive, and I don't think I've had in that space of time that much positive, like so much praise in that sort of small amount of time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So looking at the chosen venue for your play, the All Saints Church in Wellington, Telford, which I must say was an amazing venue to choose, bro, but why did you choose a church as the venue for your play? Was there a personal or a symbolic reason behind that choice?
No, but so a few people thought that. I ain't religious at all. Like, I'm a Catholic because I was I got a Holy Communion and that. But no, and I don't like church. Sorry, whoever listens to this, but I'm not a church sort of person. It was Tark really that sort of I needed to find a venue, and I needed to find a venue of a place where it could fit 100+ in. And you got that Donington Theatre, haven't you? But like, I don't even know how many people. It just looks pepped out, doesn't it? Just, and I just thought, you know what? I've done some work with Tark at the church. Plus, I collaborate with Tark. Might as well just have a word with Natalie or Heather, and they sorted it out for me. But if I was asked to do that again, it wouldn't be there. Like, I would want it like at Theatre 7. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But because it's just a stepping stone for now.
Exactly.
The next venue won't be there. It'll be in a proper like hall thing.
I think personally it was a great venue for it. Like, it set the scene, it gave that kind of eerie.
It did actually.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when I walked in and we were doing the sound checks and that, and you had the smoke machine that was going,
that was class.
And that smoke machine, it kind of went across the church, and at one point, bro, it seemed to like the smoke rested in between the altars.
It rested for ages,
and it looked eerie. Do you know what I mean?
It
set the scene perfectly. Whoever's idea that was to do that for the first one, well done you, because that was
Scott,
an amazing choice.
That was Scott.
Big up Scott.
Yeah, he asked if I wanted to have the smoke and all that, and I said yeah. This is before you came, I think. I was like, yeah, that's sick. And the lightings as well. The lighting, they really did like a fantastic job with setting the scene. Yeah, definitely.
Scott was highly skilled. I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, you could see him getting stressed though, innit?
Hey, I think we all might have been deep down, but none of us showed it. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So, how did the physical space of that church shape the atmosphere of the performance? Do you think? I think there was enough space for us all to do our thing there.
Yeah, I think there was. If I wanted to be nitpicky, I am nitpicky. I think the stage probably could have been a bit wider. I think the walkway for me and Joe could have been a bit bigger. Probably because we were in the waiting room waiting for me to go into counselling. Maybe there could have been a setup just there. But that for me, for my first play, that was perfect.
It really was. Do you think that the setting influenced how the audience responded? Like, were people quieter because it was a church, do you think? Or
think so.
More reflective, maybe even like more moved by it? I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
think so, bro.
I agree. I think it being in a church as well, and a lot of people that turned up, I think, go to that church. And I think people sort of, you could feel the atmosphere. You could like when I was talking to Janetti in the play, I could feel like everyone just like listening,
locked in, mate.
Yeah, you couldn't even hear a penny drop, could you?
No. Yeah, they were definitely locking in. How did obviously when, I mean, I'm not sure how much you know of this, but when the church was approached about this, how did the church community respond to the play? Were they open to it right away, or did it take some explaining?
Yeah, it definitely took some explaining. Yeah. I had a couple of conversations with Keita. She wanted to know about the scenes in the play, about the book. I couldn't tell her about the book because it's copywriting. I couldn't really explain anything. But what I could explain to her, which she could put to the board members, was that everything's died down. Do you know what I mean? The scenes of the play, the scenes of the script, even though they're all factual, they're died down.
Yeah.
So they obviously then agreed, and they were fine with it. Yeah.
Wicked. All right, Ben. So, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about writing something personal and putting it out to the world?
Bloody hell. Make sure you've got a lot of time on your hands.
A lot of patience as well.
If someone's looking to do something like that, get in touch with me, and I can put you in the right directions of
Great idea.
Publishers, writers, script writers, authors. Like, I've got more people on my phone that are bloody publicists and writers and all that than I have bloody naughty people.
Hey, yeah. And finally then, let's cover your next project, which is very much underway. It's in its final process now, and that is the release of your book about your life called Misunderstood, which is available to pre-order right now. I'll put the link in the description of the podcast.
Yes.
Now, alongside the pre-order release of your book, you also held a book launch event alongside the Yellow Ribbon. Is it Yellow Ribbon Foundation, would you say?
I don't even know, because I thought it was hard, because on Instagram it's halfway else on the Wrekin, and then then she calls it Yellow Ribbon. So
yeah, I think it's in conjunction. I know that the Yellow Ribbon, but from doing a bit of research last night, ahead of obviously having them guys down tonight, it looks like the Yellow Ribbon actually purchased that halfway house for that very job that they do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously you got involved with them and the team at the halfway house on the Wrekin. Now, this event was really well attended, and the one thing I personally noticed was just how many people came from all over together to celebrate your success, and this came in the form of discussions, speeches, and a performance from myself. Tell me a bit more about this event and how you think it went.
That event, I think the past few weeks I've just been emotionally like, it's just I've just been like, emotions have been taken out of me. That was, I think, the best event that I've ever been to.
Because I'm not going to lie, mate, you was a little nervous on the time. You know, we were getting to the time, and you were like, where's the people, man? Where's the, you know what I mean? And then they just seemed to they were there.
I think there was like 67 people,
which is great, man.
Turned up, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like it was just in a central place where people can just pass by while they're at the shops. They had to go to this designated place and make the effort to get up there to come.
Exactly. My publisher turned up in bloody pink stilettos, didn't she?
Hey.
Like, and she's like little pink shoes with little heel on them, and she walked up the Wrekin, or halfway out the Wrekin to see it. So
legends.
I reckon I probably would have doubled that, probably more, if it was on like in a venue or event on ground.
Yeah,
easy. But yeah, that event.
Question is, sorry to interrupt you there. The question is, could you get up to the halfway house in pink stilettos, bro?
Probably.
I'm almost visioning it. I can see it.
Yeah. I probably could. I might try it.
You have to try it one time, mate.
I'm going to your event on Saturday.
There you go. Then I expect you in pink stilettos, bro.
Yeah, I'll borrow some.
Come on. Why did you choose the title Misunderstood? What does the word mean to you personally, Ben?
Me being misunderstood.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, innit?
Yeah.
I get it. Was there something that you felt the play couldn't say that the book could?
No, I think. Yeah, the play. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the play couldn't say a lot of things because of it being in a church, but it's still got something out there. Whereas the book has got absolutely everything to the nit and gritty. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I got enough out there in the play for people to sort of understand what sort of life I probably had, or what life I did have. Sorry.
And like you said, the people that did hear it were very shocked, and you know, I suppose all you can say is wait till you read the
buy the book, innit?
Buy the book, man. Yeah, this is exactly it. What was it like shifting from writing for the stage to writing for the page? Did it feel like a completely different process?
Yeah, definitely. Doing it on a script, you have to make sure it's for the audience as well, don't you? So the audience is sort of like captured by it as well. Whereas you're sort of writing for the same sort of audience in a sense, but in a book I can just chuck everything in there, and it's there for everyone to read. Yeah. Whereas doing a play and having to try and get people to come to the play, and then them engaging in it, you have to do loads of different things to it, like i.e. the music, like with you and Ben and that, and Rago as well. Sorry, Rago obviously didn't turn up because he was ill.
Yeah, I was looking forward to meeting him.
Yeah, he was ill. But having all that music the script there is completely different because you're sort of capturing sort of different audience.
Yeah. Do you think that it was more challenging to write about your life in book form, where there's nowhere to hide behind characters and actors?
Yeah, 100%. Because when I was talking about when I struggled with the book because I was having to do like sending like an hour's worth of like voice notes and all that of my life, and it's like, and then having to do it again a few weeks later or a month later, and then again and again, and then still going into doing talks or what? Well, I haven't done any talks for a while, but still having to go and talk to people about my life is like, it completely takes your energy
100%. And I think that's only the early process of it, because like me and Janetti was saying, when this book is launched, you are going to get people that are going to want to review it.
Yeah,
they're going to want to talk to you about it. And Janetti was saying, I totally agree with her, like, I know it's your life, Ben, but like, you need to know this book through and through, because people are going to go, right, chapter blah blah blah, when you said this, what do you think about this?
Right, yeah, whatever they chuck at me, I know, like, it's not as if I'm bullshitting, innit? It's my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get what I mean? So what anyone says to me, I know what my book's about.
Yeah. So regarding the book then, Ben, did you write that for yourself or for others that may feel misunderstood, or maybe a bit of both?
A bit of both, and also for my mum and the sperm donor, and also my stepdad, to all realise, fuck you, this is where I've got, and I've wrote a book about you, haha.
What do you hope that someone takes away from reading Misunderstood, especially someone who might feel unseen or unheard in their own life?
Well, I want to get it into an audio, because I know some young people don't read books.
That's a good idea, mate. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, so I'm looking at getting it into an audio, so young people can definitely listen to it. And again, when they listen to it, they will be, I guarantee they'll be like, shit, I'm going through this, or like, I need to reach out to him. Where can I get hold of him? Like, so it'll resonate. It's just an opportunity then for someone to get in contact with me.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Was there a moment when you realised, like, this isn't just my story, it's a story for a lot of people that might relate?
I didn't realise that until I've had conversations with people. I didn't, like, especially with the play as well, I didn't realise that this is out actually for everyone, not just for me to get my shit off my chest. It's actually for everyone. Yeah, no, I get that. How did writing the book change the way that you see your own story, Ben? Like, has it give you new clarity or closure? I don't think it's given me any closure as such, but it's given me definitely clarity of how to raise your children, how to sort of
almost like what not to do.
Basically, yeah. That's where the clarity's come from, of how to parent, how to sort of guide your children into a way that they're not gonna get into sort of crisis, basically.
Yeah, because I suppose, like, thinking forward, like, the last thing that you would want is your own children being in your position, having to tell a story of neglect.
If any of my children did that, yeah, I would seriously be. I don't even know what I'd do to myself. I think it is you'd question a lot of things.
You would. If the younger version of you, the one who felt misunderstood, could read this book today, what do you think they'd feel?
A lot of emotions. I think when people read the book, it's not for the faint-hearted. I think there's gonna be obviously I can't talk too much about it, but like, obviously where I am now is obviously there's going to be that in the book. Do you get what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of emotions involved in it, where people are going to be happy, angry, sad. And it's like a bit of a shit sandwich, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so, bro. I guess so. Well, mate, thank you for opening up. And,
no worries.
You know, now this book is on its way to being out in the world. What's next for you then?
Film.
Focus on that, yeah. Get that book done.
Get the book done, and then it'll be documentary or film, one of them two, and then Hollywood, baby.
Hey! Well, thank you for opening up and taking us deeper into the story behind Misunderstood.
Thank you, bro.
It's all right, man. Writing a book about your life, especially one that's rooted in the feelings of being unseen or misread, takes real honesty and courage. Like, it's not easy to hold a mirror up to your past and invite others to look with you, but you've done that with heart and vulnerability. So for anyone that's listening who's ever felt like they don't quite fit, weren't fully heard, or struggle to be understood, I hope that Ben's story reminds you that your voice matters and your story deserves space. You can find Misunderstood in the links in the episode description, and when that book is out, I will do the same. You can pre-order the book now. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you can, yeah. Pre-order it now, yeah.
I love that. Now, hearing how you've navigated the writing, the performance, and the deeply personal moments along the way has been powerful, Ben, and a reminder that our stories, no matter how messy or complicated, are always worth telling. So to everyone's listening, I hope this conversation encouraged you to reflect on your own story, and maybe even share it with honesty, with heart, and with the people who mean the most to you. Thank you for joining us today, Ben, and until then, keep listening, guys, keep learning, and keep telling your story. So with that, I just want to thank Ben Butler firstly for coming down the studio to talk about his play, the book launch event, and everything that he has been up to. It's nice to see Ben seeing progression in his life, and when you can see progression, you know you are on the right tracks. So keep focused, Ben. We are all mad proud of you. And finally, I said a few words at the play, and I just want to say them again because I feel they are mad important and they are spoke straight from the heart. My good friend Ben Butler, once entangled in a life of crime, stands before us today as an author, sharing his story with courage and honesty. He's a testament to the human capacity for change. In prison, he confronted his actions, sought understanding, and chose a path of self-improvement. Through education, he emerged not as the man who entered, but as someone determined to make amends and contribute positively to society. Now, Ben's book offers a rare glimpse into the complexities of a life once led astray and the path back to integrity. It's a narrative that challenges us to look beyond labels and recognise the potential for growth within us all. Now, as you read the pages of this book, may we all find inspiration in his resilience and a reminder that it's never too late to rewrite our own stories. Ben's made some mistakes in his past, the kind that land you behind bars and leave you with a label that society often refuses to forget. For a while, it may have seemed like this label would stick with him forever, like the world had already decided what kind of person he was and that there was no room for change. But what they didn't see, and what I've had the privilege to witness and all of his friends, is the strength it takes to rebuild your life from the ground up, to face your own past, own it, and still find the courage to dream of something better. Now today he runs New Generation Coaching. He's a strong mentor for our youth. He's not just surviving, my boy is thriving. He's showing others who have walked the same path that there is a way forward, that redemption is real and that change is possible. Now, I don't admire Ben because he's perfect, let's face it, none of us are. I admire Ben because he's proof that we're all more than the worst that we've ever done. And I hope his story reminds us all to look at people not just for who they are, but for who they've become. So finally, I just want to say a big shout to all the team that was involved in this play, all of the services that have got involved with Ben to make this turn from a vision into reality. I know Ben appreciates it, and it was an absolute pleasure to be involved in this. Thank you so much for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just
just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say.